Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody watching around the world. PAX Online, Rocket League finales tonight. Very excited. My name is Nick Beckwith, and I'm going to be one of your hosts for this evening.
And I'm James Cowan, and I'll be your co-host.
I'm very excited to have you here with me, as I know you know a fair bit about Rocket League, so we're definitely going to talk a little bit about the game very soon. I did want to just bring up the names of the two teams that are playing tonight. I'm very, very excited. We've got Pandas versus Seagulls. So we've got the tribe of Panda on one team, and mine on the other team. So honestly, this is could be good. I mean, like, Pandas maybe sticking to the ground, Seagulls gonna fly.
Yeah, look, I think they're going to try and pinch the game at the last possible moment. So I think, both these two teams feeling quite young players as well. And I think that just speaks to Rocket League as a whole. It's a fantastic esport to watch, to get involved with. It's very simple to understand, but as these players will show, it's very hard to master.
It's one of those games that I feel like, as a gamer myself, when I'm talking to people who don't really play video games very often, looking for something like a little bit competitive, but also really awesomely casual to get into, Rocket League is like my go-to suggestion, because it's so much fun playing with other people of the same skill level,
Oh, absolutely.
Two people who don't know what they're doing are going to have just as much fun as two people who are pro at the game. So from driving around to the people who can literally dribble the ball in the air and knock it into the goal. Do you foresee some pretty high level play today?
Absolutely. I think, this kind of tournament also brings out the players that might not necessarily get a chance to have their moment on the stage as well, but there is a lot of hidden talent within Rocket League, within OCE, and they're all just chomping at the bit to get their go, to have their moment in the spotlight, and I think this is the perfect platform for it.
What better an opportunity than Telstra's Tourneys and Free Play to get your name out there and play in the final as well. So they're obviously going to be very excited to be on the channel today, playing for their gold medal. It's actually really, really exciting to give players this opportunity as well. I'm really, really hoping to see some bicycle kick action. It doesn't happen very often, like when you're not just finessing, but I want to see some really, really cool plays from these guys.
Yeah, look, I think the flip side of that, funnily enough, is the whiffs. There's some big whiffs and big misses.
Yeah.
And in a game like Rocket League, things happen really quickly. So one mistake, everything can turn on you, and next thing you know, the ball's down the other end of the field and it's in the back of the net and you're picking it out. So yeah, it's a really exciting game. It's fast, it's fun, it's explosive as well, and I'm glad that they've rolled back some of the changes they've made to Demolitions, because that was super
inconsistent.
It wasn't the best before, but it's been reverted and rolled back. There's a huge patch that dropped overnight, and things are slowly getting their way back to normal. It's about to go free to play as a title as well, so if it's a game you're looking to get into and you like what you see tonight, it is going to go free to play very shortly, so opportunity to get involved.
That is a very, very exciting thing to look forward to, especially as you mentioned, if people haven't bought it yet, hold off, it's coming to free to play. We're very excited to have an influx of new players as well. There are obviously a lot of different ways to play Rocket League. You've got your solo, your 2v2s, your 3v3s, and all of them have vastly different play styles. I have a couple of friends who sort of tend to only stick to 2v2 and they don't touch the solo stuff. Why do you think it's so, difficult to play a version of the game that you're not used to?
I think if you're, a player that's getting involved in the game, playing 2v2, it's easy to find one friend and just play with them. It's fast, I guess, in the sense that there's only two of you, and if you make a mistake, there's a lot of goals to concede. There's also a lot of goals to be scored in 2 versus 2. 3v3 takes a lot of coordination between the three of you to get everything going. So again, you've got to find another friend to play with and get everybody on the same level, and making sure that your gameplay style, your rotations are on point. That's the art of the 3v3. And 1v1 is basically pitting your solo mechanical skills against another person, and that can be really challenging.
I guess if you were to fly through the air and go for that shot, and for some reason the other player manages to pinch it out from under you, you could be flying for another 2 to 3 seconds, and that's all the other player needs to sort of dribble the ball all the way to your goal without anyone on defense.
Absolutely. It's as we said, it can be a bit fast, it can be a bit cutthroat in terms of the the punishment for making a mistake. But that's the opportunity, though. On the flip side of things, you can also capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. You can score some fast and some really cool goals in 2 versus 2.
Absolutely. So if you're playing with 2v2 and 3v3, I guess with each new player, you get that little bit of extra room for error, because 3v3, you might have someone hanging back all the time, ready to take those defensive shots. And in 2v2, you're obviously going to probably do a lot of switching places. Your one guy goes on the attack. If it's like really, really good chance to score a goal, you might see both of them moving forward, but obviously that puts them in a really bad spot if for some reason the other team manages to capitalize on the fact that they're both really, really offensive.
Yeah, and I think on the 3v3 side of things, once you've got your rotations down, you naturally play a more passing-oriented game, and that's the beauty of the 3 versus 3 is you really need to have that synergy with your teammates to communicate where's that ball going, where am I going to be, where do I have to be next to make the play, to even get back defensively and rotate back. It can be difficult once you've made that 3-man play to get back in rotation. A lot of these teams, fantastic in making the attacking passing plays, but when it comes back to getting someone back and pedaling back into defense, that transition, that's where they get caught up.
I guess you could call them a seagull if they were to hang around in the front looking for that goal, which funnily enough, I've already called one of the teams seagulls today already. So maybe we're going to see that exact downfall tonight during the finals. Is there a specific sort of variant of the game that you prefer to play?
I think 3v3 is probably the most challenging in that it's obviously you've got 3 different teammates who might bring something different to the team. Making them all work together in synergy is an art form. And I think it really does produce some excellent gameplay because you've got 3 different players on the field trying to work towards the same goal. And on the flip side of that, you've got 3 different players trying to stop them from working that goal.
And if, as we mentioned, it's going free to play very soon. If there is any sort of advice that you could give to a brand new player who's just downloaded the game today, what would it be?
Just get in, have fun. I think that's the main thing.
Having fun is always very, very important. Now, we are going to be tossing it over to 2 awesome casters for you guys today. They're going to be guiding you through it every step of the way. We have Mendrix and Formal today, and I'm very excited to welcome them to our Rocket League finals. Please, guys, sit back and enjoy the action.
All right, hello everybody and welcome to some Rocket League. We've got 2s today. My name is Max Von Neumann, and joining me is Nathan M. or Mendrix. Typically we cast League of Legends together, but hey, we're going to be doing some Rocket League 2s today. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing great, man. And yeah, it's going to be complete flip side of things because whereas typically League of Legends is my sort of expertise, Rocket League is more along your side of things in terms of what you've been doing and what you know around this. And I believe, as they mentioned, both Nick and James said, they're a relatively young crew, but there is one person who is not actually that young. I believe it's Riv. He's actually been he's pretty good in terms of what he can do. Tell me more about him.
Yeah, so exactly. Coming into this on the Panda team, it's funny because they were talking before about how seagulls fly. I'm actually expecting the high fly action going to be coming from our pandas in this one. Fielding 1 Riv. You might know him if you follow the RLCS. He currently plays for Blessed. He's been putting up a lot of top 8 performances throughout the years in some of our more major tournaments. The big one was a top 6 while playing for Overt during the RLO Spring Series. So considering, you have 3 sort of newer players to the tournament scene, and then you have someone who has that experience, I kind of am leaning towards we're going to be seeing a dominant performance from this one player in particular.
Yeah, the tribe of Panda will basically be putting down an entire gauntlet for my mind to get through, and that's literally going to be Riv who's going to be basically leading the charge. Mind you, as you said, he's, of course, currently playing for Blessed Esports, formerly of Avert in that same sense. This guy has been around. In terms of what they're playing for here, of course, will be those exclusive PAX medals, but also bragging rights. I mean, mind, if they're able to take down Riv, they would be just have this massive accolade to their name going forward and in this competition. That'd be great in terms of just their future and their careers in Rocket League.
Yeah, I think it's always good to sort of win sort of any event whenever you go up against someone who has that RLCS experience. Not to mention the fact too, like Riv is just one player. It is a team of 2. So Riv can only be in one spot at one time. You get a good 50 against him, you could sort of create that space and create that opening to try and beat Panda's other player, Sparley. However, and here is the big thing, I'm not sure Sparley is going to be a slouch at this game as well. Was talking to Riv sort of before this event, and it turns out these 2 are old high school friends. When Riv formed his first ever team, it was with Sparley, so they have years of experience playing against each other. This is just more arguments kind of that I feel like this Panda team is probably going to win this one 3-0.
Well, I mean, on the flip side of that, I actually got a bit of a chance to watch Nick Wilde and Dodge play some games before. They were very nice to actually put their games up on stream, and they're having a great time, having a good chat about it. I think they've also played in the Overwatch tournament previously as well, so these guys are definitely running around in every tournament they could possibly get their hands on. Nick Wilde and Dodge have some pretty good synergy in terms of how they play. They've got some great communication, and that actually might help them out, considering they're going up against, of course, two players that have been together for such a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have that perfect coordination because in twos, there is little to no room of error. You mistake, you overextend once, it is so much easier to find that counterattack goal without the third man playing mid-pitch or sometimes even deeper, that when you commit for something, you have to go all in. And speaking of going all in, we are about to be kicking off, I believe, in the next 15 seconds or so. I hope everyone is ready because we are about to really see some exciting Rocket League action.
Oh, I cannot wait for them actually to get in there and do what they need to do. And it goes back to what we discussed, and that idea of those 50-50s becomes so much more prevalent. If you make a mistake or you lose that 50-50, you don't have that third man to actually get that return on the back. You don't actually have the ability to make that play happen. And Riv, off to a flying start already, is just pushing forward straight away and immediately gets a goal. And this is what we were expecting to have that dominant performance coming from this man.
Yeah, and it was just one good touch on the attack forward. The pro players that you see in events like this are always going to be that much faster, and the speed in getting to that second touch, playing it off the backboard perfectly in position, that is exactly why you have to be confident every time you move forward to challenge. Unfortunately, the second defender did move forward a little bit too slowly, and that was the end result. A 1-0 lead for the Pandas, who are still currently on the attack.
As you can see at the moment, we do have Riv just beginning to move into a quick aerial, just tipping it into position for a setup, but unfortunately his member wasn't ready yet. There is actually a push off the side, and then in terms of a quick counter attack, but Sparley will be there to stop it and will be guiding it back towards that center pitch.
Yeah, that's just far too easy this time for our Pandas. They lured the attacking side into that false sense of security. Sparley, playing corner defense, was able to dribble through the corner. The moment Riv sees that play going through the corner, he knows Sparley's next touch has to be more towards the middle of the pitch. He's already there pushing forward. It's an easy pass to sort of pull off when you're playing at high level. 2-0 now for the Pandas.
And I really do like how the Pandas are also just staggering their movement into the kickoff directly after Riv goes in. Purely that means that Sparley's ready to pick up if the off chance he doesn't win that 50-50 and they're able to actually go back for a quick defense. Riv's just trying to guide it. Does set it center into the pitch, but Sparley does stop it from going for the goal. So we can see a nice little area. We'll just miss the ball on a touch there, and Dodge will be able to pick up the ball and try to send it back, see if they can actually score a goal in return. But of course, Riv is there waiting in return.
Yep, good bit of corner defense as well. The follow-through does set up a 1v1 situation. Riv picked up that side boost. He's going to try to do a flip reset, it looks like. Gets the reset, but no power behind that second flick, so Dodge should be able to make the save off the backboard. Sparley definitely is playing that defending role, I've noticed already. This is kind of setting up to be a bit of that Riv show. I think he's going to try and show off, trust his teammate to have some of those later defensive saves, and you can see the moment it feels like the Pandas feel like they're behind, they fall back to defense, they wait for that last possible moment to then get that touch, trying to bait mine forward, and it's all for these counterattacks. A nice little pinch off the ground will mean Riv will take it to the distance. 3-0 now for this orange side.
Yeah, just coming back off that demolition, as you can see, he was able to actually pick the ball down the side of the wall with a nice quick flick, was able to get some nice power onto it, and really Dodge and Wild just didn't have a chance to have a retaliation. 3-0 the lead now.
So I've already seen Mine is having that most success when they are playing a bit more patiently. They've had a few opportunities almost get created like that. That was a good backward read from Riv right there to sort of stop the setup. I think they just need to be a little bit less aggressive and kind of play a bit deeper. Wait for those key moments, because at the moment they are pushing a little bit too far forward. That is such a good pass in front of the net. 4-0 now for the Pandas.
Immediately the communication was in place there. Riv said, I'm setting up for you right now. Sparley is waiting just to collect that ball on the side and actually stop it and just guide it that little bit further to the right-hand side of the goalpost. And Nick Wild just had no chance to actually stop that from coming through. And 4-0 now the lead. This is a pretty decent 50-50 right off the back here. But of course, Riv is up and waiting. Does tap it just a little bit too hard and it will bounce off the floor. So open for everyone to make a grab now.
Oh, that's
There
going to
we
be
go.
the answer. All right, you saw that one being set up right there. I was expecting a little bit more power on the shot coming from Nick Wild, but it was a good setup to himself. Sparley hesitated. He didn't really know if he wanted to commit for the ball on the ground or play it off the backboard. That indecision kind of cost the positioning, and Nick Wild was able to pinch that one in. And this is sort of what I mean about maybe playing not quite as aggressive, but sort of wait for the first move to come from the Pandas if you're on Mine right now. See, Nick Wild this time, he pushes too far forward. Immediately, the ball sails over his head. Dodge able to get the pinch in the corner, but it might already be too late because Riv is setting himself up. The ball will land in the box. Where's the shot? Sparley held back. So we get a good defensive clear coming from this blue side.
Yeah, but Riv is already in the preparation for it.
That's
Nice,
an own goal.
aggressive by Dodge. Manages to actually catch Riv while he's trying to set up for another goal. And off the back of that, a nice quick power in return and just shove it straight into the ball. Sparley not ready once again.
Hey, that should not have happened. I'm going to blame Riv on that one. If Riv gets the pinch he was looking for, that goes straight to the blue side goal, but he kind of had that awkward touch, and yeah, just need to press forward and make that goal happen. Dodge as well with some power off that wall. We thought we were looking at a one-sided affair, but this game just got very interesting very quickly.
I can imagine there was probably a bit of nerves coming through for Mine, immediately just trying to wait for that opportunity to find their stride, and they definitely have found it coming into this 2-minute mark, actually giving Riv a run for his money, and of course Sparley at the same time. So there we go, another quick little hit there on the kickoff, as we can see, not the best return, but Sparley is angry. He wants to try and get something back in return. Nice little cross back over the field, and Nick Wild will have a bit of time to make the play here work. As you can see, there's a bit of a pinch on the side there, but Dodge there, able to actually just do a quick one there. There's a bit of a scramble at the moment as they're trying to get in. A little bit of boost from Dodge will allow him to get that ball out back into the center field.
Yeah, that was interesting. Because of the amount of time Sparley created, Riv actually had enough time to go back and get the boost and just sort of wait in the middle of the pitch to keep the attack going. It's actually very fortunate that Mine were able to make the read off of Riv's touch, considering he sort of knew exactly what was going to be happening. So the more patient play already being seen by Mine kind of benefits them again. Now you got a one-on-one situation. Riv should be able to get that backboard touch. I'm curious if Dodge will be able to follow through. He will be. That net looks open, but Sparley was underneath. We'll catch it, get to the corner, continue to buy time. Only 1:20 remaining right now, and for the Mine side, that's exactly what they need. A great little dunk equalizes this game.
Yeah, a bit of miscommunication between Riv and Sparley, that they both move up aggressively without anyone really moving into position to catch the ball or be ready to receive it. And because of them both moving up aggressively together at the same time, it was a very easy counterattack coming across from Mine. They even upped the score.
Yeah, 4-4, 1:13 remaining. Thing about twos is they're always going to be higher scoring games than your typical 3, one would think. Again, that lack of that third man defender does mean that you have to be committing on every single motion. Otherwise, you will give up points. It's not quite as goal heavy as you would see in ones necessarily, but already seeing a pretty high goal count right now as Riv keeping it on the attacking half. He had the follow through, but it was a defensive bump right there from Nick Wild, which gives Dodge the chance to try to clear it through. Sparley wins the 50 though, as tries to push it back to the box, pass back to Riv. I'm not sure he wanted that right away. Dodge able to make that save as we hit the final half minute of regulation in this opening game.
See, Riv was trying to set up for the defense there, but he just didn't have enough speed and momentum off it. And as we got Nick Wild just coming in off the back of his boost, was able to get there before Riv could actually push himself off the wall. And that ends up being a 5-4 lead now for Mine. Tribe of Panda feeling a little bit of the pressure at the moment. 30 seconds in, and we might actually have what appears to be an upset in this first game.
Perhaps, but we are still averaging a goal every 30 seconds, and I think we're going to see one more. Riv going for the double touch, and he's going to bang that one through. No nerves whatsoever for this Panda team as they go ahead and tie it right back.
Oh, sensational arrow. You can tell Riven has played this game through and through, basically a day in the office, and was able to actually tie it up immediately. They do need to get a quick goal off the back of it to see if there ends up being something. You can see Riv is turning on at the moment. Has, of course, had a bit of boost off this, but decent defense from Nick will basically force Riv to retreat back to his part of the half. But Sparley has found an opportunity to get the rebound off the floor. He's waiting for it again. does get a nice lock in, but Sparley's the one who ends up saving the day with 10 seconds, actually 7 seconds to go.
Dodge had the chance. He goes up for, sorry, not Josh, it was Nick Wild who had the chance, but he winds up banging it in for the own goal that might cost the team the game. Sparley was going for his own double touch right there. It was sort of a double mistake right there coming from Nick Wild as well, as he tried to pass it back to mid-pitch, but his teammate wasn't there, and that's what enabled the capitalization coming from this Panda team. And now Riv kind of showing off in the dying seconds. He's going to try to dribble it through. It will touch the ground, but the tribe of Panda, they get 4 unanswered goals, give up the lead, but then take it right back in the final 30 seconds. They're up 1-0.
Now, we're not going to say that this wasn't expected. We're expecting Tribe of Panda to put on a very solid performance, basically take this away. That being said, My is showing signs of life, is showing that they can compete, and that this might actually not be that washout that we're expecting. So things are getting very exciting for us at the back of this.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, but I do feel like the scoreline was very reflective of the play style that we were seeing actually out of the Tribe of Panda. During the first half of that game, Riv was playing much further forward, playing a lot more aggressive, and then it felt like he was trying to give Sparley those opportunities, and that's when momentum seemed to slow for them. I do feel as if when Riv is pushing forward, good things happen. When Sparley pushes forward, he accidentally gives up possession and lets Nick Wild get the first goal in game number 2.
Oh, that's where we go. As you can see immediately, there's a big, strong response coming from My, basically saying that they want to make the second game of theirs. Seagulls trying to pinch everything they possibly can at this point. And I mean, at this point, do you continue to sort of say, let Sparley have a chance to shine in the scenario as Riv, or do you say, you know what, I'm good enough to actually continue to play back from time to time, and then in 1 minute really just turn this entire game around? Or is it that seems to be the game plan going forward? He just basically giving each other a good time to have some fun.
Well, I mean, Riv on the teams that he plays on is typically second or third man. He's rarely the proactive player. So I do feel like that's sort of his default state, as that's a nice read off the defender right there. A weak touch across the box will get punished 9 times out of 10 as Nick Wild unable to get that ball to the corner. Riv immediately there to punish. We're now looking at a tie game.
Yeah, Riv knew exactly what he needed to do. He was the one that actually sent the ball towards that back end on the side of it, was then moving straight into the center with a boost, and was basically just waiting for the mistake to capitalize.
Sparley with the chance off that kickoff. Patient defense from Nick Wild will throw it right back, but Riv should be able to keep the ball on the blue side of the pitch. In the air we go. That's a double commit, well, single commit from each side, but no one really got the bang they were looking for. It's Nick Wild from underneath. We'll get it back to that orange side, and a little bit of ping pong happening right now. Each team is trying to push forward, but not really doing it fast enough. It will be a pass to Riv. This is going to be scary. No, can't quite get that spike in.
Oh, he definitely had the right idea. He did see the opportunity, but was just a bit too high to actually get that spike in. As you mentioned, as you can see, though, Riv is actually going for another opportunity. He's beginning to reposition, but nice defense played out by Dodge. We'll get that out of the danger zone.
What I am noticing, though, is my on defense, they are a little bit slower to the ball in most of these situations in comparison to this Panda team, and that is why we're seeing a more sustained attack currently coming from this orange team when they are pushing forward. It's that first touch after the initial clear that this blue team has been lacking, and as long as this continues, I think we're going to see more scoring opportunities for Panda in this. However, when the blue side does go solo and doesn't try to pass, that's when they've been having their success. And Nick Wild has had a couple breakaways solo, but so can do Riv as he goes ahead and takes the lead.
And you can just tell it's just Riv waiting for that moment that they do ever extend just that little bit, basically using those 50-50s to win afterwards. Nick Wild is scrambling to get back in time after losing out the first time, and basically by beating 2 members back to back, he's able to get these goals. So Riv definitely basically being the anchor for the Tribe of Pandas.
And on that other side, I feel like Nick Wild is going to be the one who's going to have to step up, as wasn't able to really get up at all right here. It was a nice little touch from Riv to go straight over the top. The flick, it was a pretty early flick, but it got the height that was needed. Nick Wild unable to get the touch right there. So a 3-1 lead again for the Pandas in this. They've got a 2-goal cushion. This is where they started to ease up a little bit in game number 1. Let's see how they approach the second game.
Dodger is there to actually clear off the ball there, and I like what you that idea of saying. It did what was similar to this idea before. Riv just isn't able to actually reach that spike in the very end there, as you can tell. But there's going to be a demo though to actually stop what is of course Sparley from getting back into the game. They're going to use this advantage to get themselves in position to get the ball back on the other side. But Sparley has returned and is beginning to push it back the other way. He's shooting it towards the back end. It's going to go up high, but it's not going to go too far back.
That's
Riv is waiting though. Oop.
That was a great pinch. What a crazy defensive pinch right there. I thought this was risky because you see Riv in the middle of waiting, but Nick Wild, I actually am not sure that was pinch. That could have just been straight driven off of Nick Wild, but if that's the case, he absolutely clanged that one. That is what they need, though. We need to see more of that from Mine.
Everything seems to be off the back of the counter attack, and that's what they're going to be using. 2-3 at the moment, still keeping within reaching distance to actually make this game theirs. You can tell Riv is actually trying to set up there for Sparley to push that in closer towards, of course, the goal of Mine. But at the moment, they're still trying to hold back. They are scrambling for the time being, and these is generally when it's the most dangerous times for Mine. Tribal Panda basically are able to always take advantage of this. That's the demo. That's going to be a nice, easy pick back into the goal there after the demo, and Nick Wild giving us a little bit of style.
Plays that you can only pull off in twos right there. It's a 1v1. Just get the demo and the goal yourself. There's going to be no third defender wrapping around that left side able to make the save all the time in the world to tap that one in. And once again, we are tied. Now, ball will get to the backboard. Dodge looking to go up with it. Sparley will be trying to play mid-pitch. Goes for the ground pinch. Can't get it, so Sparley will punish. Out of the corner, Nick Wild has to play, misses the ball as well. Where is Riv? Too slow to it. I'm not going to be too critical of Riv not getting to that opportunity. It looked like it was a pretty textbook save. However, you've got to be ready to snap forward at a moment's notice in a game like twos.
You can see Riv, though, does have a bit of an opportunity to actually make a good play. We'll tap it just over the edge. He's got it inside there with a boost, and just too easy for Riv. Basically saw the opportunity from the setup, as you can see. Got the boost with the come around. Tribal Panda was, sorry, not Tribal Panda, Mine was just not in position. Dodge tried to do something there to try and save it in the end, but Riv was just in too good a position and was able to just smack that nice and gently into the goal.
You cannot give Riv that much space and time to work with, or he will absolutely drill those. Dodge, it was a bit of a desperation play. You see them pull that off in the pros and even in high-level Rocket League from time to time, but it's always so difficult to get sort of those wrap-around saves. As Sparley off of the demo just needed to get that one a little lower. The second shot, though, should be accurate, and Dodge can't make the read. 5-3 right now in favor of the Pandas.
You can see he was trying to get there in time. Nice recovery from Sparley to get back, use the boost, and then tap it just in the right direction. Dodge, as you can tell, he was there, but like as you mentioned, didn't read it quite quick enough. Was too quick off the actual jump in, and that means it's going to be a 5-3 lead going towards the Tribal Panda.
Yeah, and with about a minute to go right now, we're still averaging a goal every 30 seconds or so, and well, that next one's not going to go their way, as a lot of attempts were made, but no one quite able to bang that one. Give credit to Sparley for the goal, who he actually did a good job sort of cheating up forward right there.
Yeah, he was trying to get in there, as you could mention, but it wasn't really necessary towards the very end. I feel this is just now a bit of buckling under the pressure here by Mine. It has been pretty relentless from Riv and Sparley in return of what they can do, and they've had decent responses back and forth, as you can see here, but now the attacks are just beginning to land every single time. Riv now is waiting here to actually stop this ball from getting through. The ball does get past him. He is also demoed. This might be an opportunity. Riv's back down here.
Off the backboard.
No.
Sparley just put the perfect touch on that, and that's going to be another goal for this orange side. And this is what I was talking about before, Vendrix, at the start of the game. When you commit for these attacks, you've really got to make sure you drain them, because it's so easy to go straight down the middle on the counterattack if you have both your members pushing forward. Sparley, with that touch, just gently over the top, put it in position where Riv could go full speed, follow it on through. Just dropped it right in the bucket, as they would say in Gridiron, and that was the thing of beauty.
The thing is, though, as you mentioned, you have to go when you have to be careful. It seemed like the perfect time to actually make that move and go for the all-in. You just demo Riv. You were basically on their side of the half. You have a decent setup on the back of it. They just weren't quick enough on the execution, and that ends up being the reason why they do get that score back. And now it really does seem to be Tribe of Panda just running away with the rest of this game.
Okay, to be honest, if you're Mine. It's always much easier in best of series to lose a game with a scoreline like 3-8 than it would be to lose a 5-4 3-minute overtime. Because momentum is so important, both in terms of like momentum in the game and how fast your car goes, but as well as your mental momentum. It's just so much easier to write a game off where you absolutely get steamrolled, especially when you were on this Mine side and you know, hold up, game 1 we almost won, game 2 we kind of made a few mistakes. We just need to tweak 1 or 2 things, get them a couple more 50s to go our way, and we might find that momentum right back. So I don't expect this to be a sign of things to come in our third game. I am expecting Mine to bounce back a bit.
Well, Formal, you do know the saying, third time is the charm. So my mind can definitely make something happen, especially if they do have that ability just to reset their mental. And sometimes the momentum doesn't matter, even though you can imagine Tribe Panda's got a fantastic mental momentum at the moment. The big thing that comes back to it is your ability to reset. If you're able to actually be resilient on the comeback, understand that it is a brand new game off the back of it, and you know that you can actually capitalize when there is mistakes, even made by Smiley or Riv. That is an opportunity to still win this. You're not out of it just yet. And now it's going to really be on my mind to see if they can pull off a reverse sweep.
Yeah, this is good. This is essentially, you know, reverse sweep time. You've got to win 3 in a row against the favorites, not only of this series, but of this tournament. And, well, it's always cool to say, hey, I was a champion at PAX, and for this Panda team, this is the time to do it. If they can get just one more victory, that title will be theirs, although the opening goal is actually heading more towards that orange side. Dodge has a chance to play it off of the wall, gets it to the backboard, pass back to the middle. Is the shot there? Nope. Nick Wild playing super far back on defense means it will be an opportunity instead for the Pandas. Nice little flick setup, but it's not really far back enough to really catch that pass.
Well, as we can see here, the ball will be just basically hugging that wall for the time being. We do have what seems to be Dodge trying to get in here, and Dodge will actually find it off the back of that there, just hugging the wall on the side. Not really prepared, I guess you could say, for Riv or for Sparley for him to actually make that play. As you can see, Sparley was trying to get there in time, but with the momentum, as he dropped down with a nice little pinch on the side, was able to push it directly towards that ball, directly towards that goal, and Riv just had no opportunity to get in position to stop it.
I see. I'm actually going to disagree a little bit right there. Riv had that opportunity to step forward and stop it. He was waiting for the bang that just never came, and it definitely caught him off balance because he had just collected that corner boost. He was ready to go, but a bit of hesitation and trying to figure out the trajectory of the ball actually gave that goal over to Mine, which is an awkward situation, but definitely it happens to the best of them sometimes, I suppose. As Sparley will put it up, a nice pass to Riv, looking to get it off the backboard, looks to recover it as well, but Nick Wild able to make that backboard clear. Dodge cheating up the pitch, has time to work with, going to try and rainbow it down. Who's going to get underneath? It's Riv from inside the goal, and there is that save attempt we saw earlier actually used to fruition.
Yeah, I really do love how Riv made that work. As you can tell, he's done that a million times. Did it without any hesitation. As you can see now, he's pushing the ball into the side. He's actually being patient. He realizes that Dodge has no boost, took his advantage to steal it, and just guides the ball directly into the goals.
Oh, great little pass and setup to himself. Technically a double touch, but not from the angle you usually see them at. Riv able to spike that one in. It wasn't the cleanest, but when you set it up and score it yourself, it does not have to be a tie game with 3:18 to go.
Things, though, now definitely looking a lot better here for Mine. As you can tell, they've decided to basically just chill out a little bit on that offense. They are playing a bit more of a defensive game that allows them to find opportunities when they do so, and basically stop Riv from actually styling on it a little bit.
Yeah, that is going to be the game plan right now, and Mine are on the attack. Dodge, again, will try to play through the corner, but Sparley, who had a chance to get there first, but with no control over the corner boost, it makes a dangerous situation. Riv has to win a 2v1 and somehow gets the ball enough into Nick Wild to get the ball to the corner. Sparley, time to recover, gets the boost, and oh, that's not the touch that Dodge needed. Nope. Offensive rotation now broken. Riv has a chance to pass it to Sparley. It's in the box, but the save is made by Nick Wild.
Yeah, very good, well job there by Nick Wild to actually make the recovery off the back of it. As you can see, Nick Wild also does a touch, a bit soft on the side, and Riv is there to actually capitalize on it. Isn't going to find, of course, the result that he's looking for. Sparley now does manage to do a nice little touch to stop the counterattack from coming through, which seems to be the most dangerous moments here for the Tribe of Panda. Riv is actually waiting on the side here, does go for a nice soft touch to pull it over. Sparley is there, though, to actually follow up with the guided touch directly afterwards, and it's just going to fly straight into the ball, straight into the goal. Unfortunately, Dodge just had no boost, or did collect the boost, but went too far forward to use it.
Desk wanted a bicycle kick. It wasn't a bicycle kick goal, but it was a bicycle kick setup out of Riv right there up to Sparley. So I know some people are going to be happy with that.
Oh, no. Oh, no, he wasn't there. Sparley actually tried to make it work afterwards, basically trying to give himself the own assist, but as you can see here now, it will be turned around, though, but with boost picked by Riv, he's going to guide it up towards that middle center pitch in the air. Sparley's there with a nice touch, and it's going to be more than enough. And now 3-1. The score line here, it's going to get harder and harder now for Mine.
And if there's been one area of defense that Mind has struggled the most in, it has been those passes across the middle of the pitch and just shots straight at it. Mind, they don't really know how to boost up. It seems like it makes some of those cornered saves or the proactive corner saves. They're good if the ball's on the ground or if it's essentially comes at it through the corner, but it's when these passes are going straight down the middle that Mind starts to falter a bit. And as we've seen a couple times, if Riv is setting up to Sparley, they will absolutely drain these shots. In fact, I think Riv might be going for it yet again right now, this time looking to keep him himself, but Dodge does press forward and intercepts the ball away.
Oh, well, nice pickup by Sparley as well, basically to stop that counter attack from coming through. I don't see Riv anywhere for the time being. Actually, you know, he's made his way back into defense, ready to pick up the ball as it's coming across. He's now setting it up again across pitch, as you can see, with plenty of boost. Will just flip it over the side, but Dodge is ready and waiting with the goal in defense. And now it seems like counterattack is back in place again, but Sparley will be there to stop it from happening. And now it seems to be Nick Wild needs to just get there. He's actually taking it a bit slow this time, realizes he has a bit of time. He's going to try and flick it over Riv. He's in the setup here now. He's in a dangerous position off the crossbar. Going to try to guide it in, but won't find the mark. Oh, but he finds it in his second return, and Nick Wild gets the goal there. Doesn't seem that Dodge will be able to do it, but it means that Nick Wild will be able to pick up afterwards. And look at that touch. Perfect right off that right bumper, straight into the goal.
So the setup to that goal was largely because Sparley didn't get the touch he needed to. Riv had overcommitted by going for another one of those wraparound goal saves, and Sparley needed to drive the ball to the corner. Instead, he drove it into the backboard, thinking that perhaps Riv could have been underneath to follow it through. Instead, it was Nick Wild who was underneath, and that turns into a goal for the Mind side. Now, under a minute to go, one goal to stay alive. They're even on the attacking side of the pitch. Does the blue team bring this one back? Shot saved by Sparley. Dodge follow through. No! Saved by Sparley again with only 30 seconds to go.
Oh, these pressure moments, and Sparley is coming up huge. He manages to stop another cross into the pitches going through. Dodge will be there to pick it up. As we can see, Riv is now making the move on the top side. He's trying to solidify the win right now. He's going to get the wrong touch, and it's just going to miss the goal.
Riv brained that thing, it would have been the best goal of the tournament by far. Instead, 5 seconds for Nick Wild to go the distance. He's been the solo player before. He thought he had the breakaway, but it was delayed defense from Riv. Touch the ground, and it's over. The pinch doesn't work, and Tribe of Panda take the PAX 2v2.
What we expected, but damn, did they have to fight for it. Mind definitely put up a valiant defense, especially in that third match. You could tell they finally got their rhythm into play, but it seemed to be a little bit too late. As you could tell, that second game really did take a bit out of them.
It was the aerial defense that let Mind down. They couldn't really stop Riv from setting the ball up and at times playing with it. I don't think I've ever seen Riv have the space to go for that many flip resets. That one that he almost got with 12 seconds remaining, that would have just completely ended the game. Had that shot gone in, that would have been in like one of my top 10 goals I've ever seen. Riv was having an absolute field day, and a lot of it had to do with the space he was given. Mind did try to press forward and challenge a lot during the first game, but when it didn't work out for them, they did start to fall back and play a bit more passively. And I think it was in game 3 when it really started to bear the results they were looking for. However, it just wasn't enough to get them that win.
What I like about the play from Riv specifically is he was actually very good at using the extra boost available on the map. And that's one of the big things that you're allowed to do in the 2v2s. You do have a lot more access to the amount of boosts available. That was something that Riv basically was always on top of. And that honestly felt my mind was falling a little bit behind on as well. There were times there when I was looking at Dodge or Nick Wild, and they really just didn't have the boost necessary to actually come through, build the defense that they needed to be in place. Or there are actually cases where they went for boost a little bit too late, and actually allowed Riv to find that little bit of extra space on behind them to actually find some goals and get some goals off the back of it.
Yeah, that said, though, that will conclude it. The Pandas are going to be our winners in this one. So a big congratulations to both Riv and Sparley for getting it done, winning 3-0. Spoilers in case you want to know how the rest of the tournament went. They won both their preliminary matches 2-0 as well. So an undefeated run for this team. They will be our PAX champions, and a big congrats to them.
Mine. More like yours to you guys, Tribe of Pandas. They did end up giving it to you a little bit in the end, but man, that was an exhilarating show.
It was. And that's why Rocket League is such a fantastic esport to watch, because so much happens so quickly. You saw how quickly the first game turned it around.
Yeah.
It was domination from Tribe of Panda early on, and then the mine, got themselves back into it. They clawed their way back into it and made it a really fast finish. But of course, Tribe of Panda, they were victorious over 3 sets there, and it was awesome to see. But I mean, they really did hang it out with Mine.
They really did push pretty hard, even though they were on the back foot from literally the first, 1 minute of the game, and Tribe of Panda was up 4-0. Obviously, with the time stopping every time a goal is scored, that's a real difficult thing to take as a player, knowing that you've got 4 minutes to go and you're already 4 goals down. Like, a lot of people, especially non-competitive players, will check out at that point. You can't claw your way back. But they came back. They went 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 4 versus 4 going into that end of the final round. I was actually really rooting for Mine to take that first round out. Unfortunately, they didn't manage to secure it, but they did put up one heck of a fight.
They did, and I think that match that we just watched was a great example of 2 versus 2 in that it was so fast, back to back in terms of action. You were 1 second in defense. Next thing you know, the attack was on. They were flowing up the field and putting passes onto the backboard and pushing that ball into the back of the net. But one mistake, and they're backpedaling again, and they're back in defense, and then conceding goals from anywhere on the field. I think that's what makes 2v2 a really good spectator introduction to Rocket League. Obviously not the competitive format at the top end, but it is so good for honing your skills as a player.
Absolutely. And we have to take a moment here to talk about Riv, because absolutely a standout player in this series, because the guy spent more time in the air than driving on the ground. Yeah. Let's be real. He was dribbling from the roof more times than I can count on one hand, and more often than not was scoring goals off of it as well. Do you think he was the MVP of this particular final?
I think it's safe to say that he had a really good hand in elevating Tribe of Panda to the podium. But I guess not to be overshadowed though, Sparley putting in a good effort in the end in that last game there.
Absolutely.
He was certainly contributing to a lot of the goals that they were getting.
Yep.
And it was one of those series that you could see that the player was just warming into.
Yeah, looking at the statistics there, Sparley actually had three saves in that last game alone. So without him, they actually would have been a much tighter score there. So I mean, they made a really great team in the end. Nick Wilde putting up a really good front though against these guys. He was the only person sitting there without a title under his name. So I was like, oh, is he actually secretly an absolute champ at this game, or is he just just doesn't want to show? Just doesn't want to put it on.
Right. I guess in Rocket League, it's one of those things that if you've got a title, it shows your competitive experience, or it was bragging rights. It was something to show off in the game. As time went on, they actually introduced a lot of titles that were, just to be laughed at. In trivial, exactly. And obviously, the competitive ones are the ones that they really treasure. So having those titles or not having a title is a bit of a lighthearted take on that. So I like
sure.
it.
I remember I used to rock my rookie, even though I'd played for quite a while, and I'd always have rookie. Just sitting there because it always looked good.
It was deceptive, right? You could lure your opponents into a false sense of security and then show them your skills.
I mean, I feel like we're seeing a little bit of that in this game, where the mind games in Rocket League are actually quite awesome to watch as well. Obviously, Riv flying around from the get-go is one of those things. As a player, I get pretty afraid of someone who spends a lot of time in the air, because that's a really dangerous place for an opposing team to be.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like the mind games is something that plays, I mean, obviously in all competitive sports, do you think Rocket League is something that it actually makes a big difference in?
Absolutely, and I think you saw it there with Riv, the way that when he was playing, he had freedom to put that ball onto the backboard. If they're not defending that backboard, that gives him so much more room to either fake out his opposition, play those mind games, allow Sparley to come in. You saw even there, Riv setting himself up for some backboard goals. Sparley was there waiting to see whether or not Riv would actually go for it or whether it would be faked out. And you could just see that they were toying with their opposition. So that was a good example of the mind games that can be played. And in that 2 versus 2 format, as I said, though, they make a miscommunication.
One little miscommunication.
And an error. And we saw it in that first game. Things turned around, and next thing you know, it's 5-5.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess a really good example of that teamwork that we saw as well from Sparley and Riv in that I think it was the first match. maybe it was the second round, where Riv was dribbling it through the air right towards the goal. It would have gone in, regardless. He made that final touch, and Sparley was there just to offset it, and it completely sort of blows the defenders out of the water, because they can't defend against 3 different angles at once. But then again, one little mistake, if they put it into the defender, that other guy is there ready to rush it down to the other end of the track.
Absolutely, and you can see anticipation and physics are a big part of this game as well. So having your defender miss the ball, giving you heaps more opportunity because they've misjudged it in flight is pretty key. So we saw a few examples of it there. In 2 versus 2, you don't have that teammate, that third teammate that's hanging back to save you. Unfortunately, you're hung out to dry a little bit if you do miss a ball like that. And you can see just a few times there that mine were unfortunately just left in dire situation just because they'd missed that ball, putting their teammate under pressure. And the experience of Riv as well as a player is going to punish that, unfortunately. So that was why Tribe of Panda were just in the key moments of the games, just a little bit more clinical.
Yeah, caught out in the rotation a lot of that. Like Riv would be on the offense a lot, and you could see Sparley was in that sort of middle area where he could pull back if something went wrong, but he was also there to assist if he got a perfect sort of pass on. He can do that alley-oop. That's the big moment for that kind of player.
Yeah, and it also helps too if you've got a player that can solo it a little bit.
Absolutely.
Leaves one player back defending, and you can just sort of breathe a little bit easier. I know if you're Sparley, you could probably leave Riv to his own devices and let him run free there. You could see he was going for it. He was going for the flip resets. He just had control of the ball in the air. Obviously, in 2 versus 2, there's a lot more boost on the field available for players, and that benefits some of the players a little bit more that are great in the air. And Riv was a benefactor of that, and I think it just shows there. And I think this is why Rocket League is one of those games that difficult to master, easy to understand from the get-go, but once you see players like this playing, and then you try it yourself, you try and put that car in the air.
I learned about physics in school, but this is a whole different kind of physics.
Exactly.
I do want to give a commendation as well to Nick Wilde. At one point during, I think it was that last match, the demolition right near the very end, and then the ball coming in just behind him, and he just backs his booty up and just knocks it into the goal. It was just like the perfect little moment for them to get a really good goal at that moment as well.
Yeah, it was just a touch of class at the end.
Yeah, just back it up. Now, we do have an awesome video for you guys to check out. Bring a little bit of hype to the esports gaming scene. So check it out, and we'll be back with you in just a moment. Well, we have had an awesome week of finals so far. I mean, starting off with Rainbow Six Siege on Monday, we really knew that we were in for a really good series of gaming. The finales obviously being streamed here on PAX, twitch.tv/PAX, every night at 6 o'clock, our local time here. That's Sydney time. And then obviously on Tuesday we had the awesome Street Fighter. It was really awesome to watch Ghost Chips going head-to-head there, seeing that famous Bison play.
It was.
Enjoy that.
It was also a really clinical display of just reading your opponent and reeling them back in.
Yeah, the beautiful moments of watching finals. I mean, we know that these players are going to be near the top of their game, if not at the top of their game. So it's exciting to watch players who are all so talented going at it head to head. And if you guys are as talented as these guys, well, I've got good news for you. I hope you play Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And I specifically hope that you play Gun Game, because tomorrow, if you aren't in the Discord, or if you haven't joined the PAX Online Discord, you can do that on their website. Make your way through to the Call of Duty Gun Game tournament, which is going to be tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. And we're going to be very, very excited to be bringing you the finals for that one as well. Do you play a little bit of Call of Duty yourself?
I play a little bit of Warzone. But yeah, you're right. I think it's one of those games too where you don't know too many people that don't play Call of Duty, and I think everybody is self-professed best on their street.
Absolutely, well. Yeah. Best player in my household. It's a common one.
It's a legitimate title to claim.
It is a legitimate title to claim. Look, and obviously Gun Game is an awesome game mode as well, though. It's 2v2, so it's very, very high stakes, very short little rounds. You're given a completely random weapon. Everyone gets the same weapon, and you've got to sort of deal to the opponent's team faster than they can deal to you. So it is a really, really awesome little skill set to own, especially as a first-person shooter game. We don't see this style of gameplay in competitive very often at all.
No, and I think probably that's where some Warzone skills will actually lend themselves to these players.
Yeah.
Because you've got to pick up, you've got to get what you're given.
Exactly.
And you've got to try and do the best with it, because that's exactly how things pan out sometimes.
And if you fail, you know you have to deal with that in the gulag as well. You get given a completely random weapon, you've got to deal with that. So yeah, it's actually going to be some really high octane play. So 6 o'clock tomorrow night, that's where you guys are going to be able to check out all of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare action. Finals here at Telstra, Tourneys, and Free Play. Now, we do have one other little video for you to check out. It's the discussion on the community. Obviously, having a community of gamers is really important to us here at PAX. And we'll take a look, see what you think. There is nothing more important than having a really supportive, positive gaming community around you, and obviously PAX Online is one of the stalwart defenders of that title. We like to make sure that everything is always positive and helpful, and obviously running these tournaments throughout the week, this has been a really awesome way to get to know a lot of new players and maybe introduce a lot of new players to our community as well.
Absolutely, and I think just showing too that we've seen a lot of new players come through to the finals of these competitions means that newer players are having their moment in the spotlight and showing us some of those new talents, unearthing some new talents, and I think that's really cool, and it's a great way to build community. It's a great way to build yourself a competitive experience as well. So all around, I think it's just win-win for everybody.
So to everyone out there who does think that they do have a really good shot at being an esports gamer or even making it through to finals of competitions, go out there, look for those moments. Whenever there's something like this going on, make sure you sign up, and we might see you in the finals for PAX Online tournaments next year.
Yeah, maybe.
Very exciting. But that is going to be it from us today, guys. If you wanted to get involved, remember the schedule's on the PAX Online website, so go and hit that one up, join the Discord, get through all of the little hoops there, and then you'll basically be ready to go. Sign up for our Call of Duty tournament tomorrow. We'll be happy to see you there. But that's it from us here tonight. And catch you later.